Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with my review for the series premiere of Castle Rock on Hulu. Alright, so I got a chance to check this out yesterday. So I was planning actually, because it was released I think at midnight, right, yesterday. So it was like, so like 12 a.m. on Wednesday, right, July 25th. So I was planning on doing the review yesterday, and then I just got really busy, and I didn't have time to watch the episode. So I did end up watching it, towards the end of yesterday, in the night. And then I decided, do the review today, a day later, and share some of my thoughts about this series premiere, because this was one of my most anticipated shows for the summer schedule so far. So this is also the first Hulu original show that I've ever seen. I don't watch The Handmaid's Tale. I know that's a huge one for a lot of people, and there's some other ones out there, but I think Handmaid's Tale kind of sticks out as being the biggest one. Obviously Hulu is not, quite up to Netflix with the amount of originals and the success that those originals have. So Castle Rock, maybe it does. Maybe it is going to become big. Maybe that this and Handmaid's Tale, maybe, the two bigger ones for Hulu after, this calendar year is over, maybe, right? So we'll have to see. But anyways, initial thoughts, I really enjoyed it. I was honestly, one of the biggest things I was surprised with this series premiere, or at least like what the series looks like, is the quality. I mean, like Hulu, and again, I've never seen a Hulu original, so I didn't know exactly what to expect. And this, like, the quality of this production, it really seems like you're watching an HBO show. It really does. Like, it is that good. So, whether that means that they put more, more of a budget, more spending into Castle Rock, compared to other Hulu originals, or just all Hulu originals they put this much into. Either way, it looks really great in terms of quality. So, anyways, really impressed by this. Really good job here with the series premiere. I've already watched all 3 episodes that they've released now, so I'm going to try not to talk about episode 2 and 3 within this review, because I'm just going over the series premiere, and I won't have any spoilers. I may go over some character names, or, a specific event that happens at the very beginning of the episode, but that event is also described in the synopsis for the episode, so I figure it's not too spoilery, because if you literally read the synopsis of the episode, you know what I'm talking about. So anyways, guys, let's get into it. Just going to share a few thoughts. I just have like a couple negatives, and the rest is all positive. That's how good this show really was. So first off, the atmosphere and cinematography is phenomenal. I mean, absolutely flawless throughout the whole episode here, and the next 2 episodes as well. And like, it captures the horror with rundown buildings, dark alleys, really bland colors the whole way. Just really great job. I mean, the cinematography is awesome. Every single shot that you see is sticking with this theme, this atmosphere, right? And they're able to capture that small town kind of horror, like a horrific kind of town that's just been really really run down and really affected by this kind of evil there, right? This evil lurking. So very good job in capturing that atmosphere throughout the whole episode. It was really believable, right? The whole town was like this, and that again just is an attest to the quality, right, that I talked about before, with the matching an HBO quality. Like, it was really awesome. So then the first few minutes of the episode set the tone. I mean, really, like, a serious horrific one at that, right? Like, it really set the tone there. And now, I'm not going to spoil anything here, but there is a suicide, and it's pretty gruesome, right? We actually don't see quite the how gruesome it is, right? We don't see exactly how how gruesome, but obviously we can kind of picture, and then people are talking about it, right? So anyway, so there's a suicide attempt at the very beginning of the episode, and that kind of, I feel like it sets the tone, right? Like, if you don't know what this show is and you see that first scene, boom, like that is just a really captivating scene, a horrific one, right? A really serious tone they're setting. So I really like that. Really like that they're just right away getting into that, setting the tone for what this series is going to be. And that's really important for a premiere, right? You want to know what you're getting into. You want to know what the show is going to be about. You want to know, the tone, right? The tone and the theme of what's going to be happening. And they do it amazingly in the first few minutes. So many characters and storylines to follow in this episode. So this would be like one of my only negatives of the show, and this is what I thought of going into it after seeing a couple of the trailers and sneak peeks. This is the one thing I worried about with this, because the show is obviously a kind of a compilation of a bunch of Stephen King stories based on his settings and characters that he's written about in all of his different novels and stories, right, that he's developed. So with that, you get a lot of characters and stuff based on his stories. So my main worry was that there would be too many characters, and there wouldn't really be that one or two characters that we're really rooting for, that are those main characters, because there's so many other characters that they want to focus on and bring to light. So Henry Deaver, played by Andre Holland, will be the main protagonist, I believe. I think that's what they're going with. But then again, Bill Skarsgård's character is getting a lot of screen time too. So episode 2 and 3, it focuses a little bit more on Andre Holland's character, but in this series premiere, like, we don't even see him, I don't think, for about 20 minutes into the episode, right? So this could be a problem going forward. It just depends how they decide to go with this. But I find shows without that main protagonist, or main couple characters that you're rooting for, right? These are the people that we're supposed to be on their side and wishing for them to accomplish the story. Without that, I just don't know if the show can be really, really successful long term, right? It's more of just a theme show with all of these different characters that people, kind of are interested in, right? So I don't think it's going to be as good of a series if they keep going with that. But again, episode 2 and 3 have also already done a good job in that regard, to me at least, with, pushing Andre Holland a little bit up, right, and making him kind of the main focal point. So anyways, that is just one of my only negatives, is that there's just a lot of characters to follow that are getting a lot of screen time. Like, in other shows, you have the main character, okay, and then you see other characters in these storylines placing together. But usually those other storylines that are kind of not as important as the main character don't get as much screen time. But in this series premiere, I would say they got as much screen time, or maybe even more screen time, than Andre Holland's character, right? And there's that woman, right, that we don't know much about, and we've already seen a lot of screen time from her. So just something to note. And then also, not much actually happens in terms of story development in this episode. Some really slow pacing, but I think that attests to how good this series is. The atmosphere and the cinematography, and just the way they're able to kind of show what is going on screen, just makes up for that slow pacing. And the thing is, I'm talking about how it's slow paced and there wasn't much happening, but this episode flew by for me. I was watching it, and then I checked, I paused it for a couple minutes, and I was already like 40 something minutes in, and I felt like I was 10 minutes in. So the episode went by really fast, even though the pacing was a little bit slow. So that just really attests to the writing and the way that they're able to show us the visuals, where it's just so captivating that you're still really interested in it, and even though there's not much going on, right? And also with the horror aspect too, right? You don't know when they're setting you up for like a little bit of a jump scare too. So you're always going to be watching and interested in that. And especially Stephen King fans who know his stories very well, I really feel like they would be watching for, Easter eggs and little hidden, secrets throughout the show, which would also keep their attention for sure. Phenomenal performance by Bill Skarsgård in this first episode, and also in the next couple episodes, recapturing that horrific and terrifying experience that we got when we saw him as Pennywise in It. Now, I'm not comparing the two characters, because the creators have made it abundantly clear that Bill Skarsgård's character in Castle Rock is not connected to Pennywise. It's a brand new character. They are just not, they're played by the same actor, but they're not connected. So I do recognize that. I want to make that clear, but I'm just saying, his performance as Pennywise was amazing, and this one is too. Like, really recapturing that same performance. Andre Holland was also very good in his role, but again, we didn't really see much of a screen time or much of a story with him, right? So we weren't able to see his performance as well as Bill Skarsgård. But honestly, Bill Skarsgård is one of the better actors, better young actors, I would say. Right now, like he's really, really great. So really awesome there. And the other cast was pretty good, but again, they didn't get a lot of screen time, a lot of story development. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to recognize, a really great performance, if they're not given, the time, right? So anyways, some great horror scenes. Right, that's what the show is, right? And so when Skarsgård first appears in the episode, that's pretty scary. Like that, I actually jumped, like, because I was not expecting that. I was like, all right, things are getting scary here, but I wasn't expecting that. So yeah, so there's a lot of other scenes as well, right? Really kind of those horror scenes that you would expect in a show like this, right? There's also a later scene in the episode, at the very end of the episode, where, again, I don't want to get into spoilers here, but yeah, it's a little bit of a horrific scene. It doesn't actually happen, but just on screen, the way it looks is really, really horrific. And kind of, it's just really sudden, right? So yeah, I honestly, I felt like the horror was like the same as it, and the horror in it, honestly, I mean, I don't know. I just wasn't that fazed by it. I don't think. I mean, yeah, of course it was still scary, but I wasn't as fazed as from it as what I thought I would be. And I would say the horror is the same as it. I mean, even in the series premiere, I wouldn't say it's on the same level, right? Just because there's not as much horror in this. It is kind of just scene after scene, right? The same kind of stuff. But anyway, so really great horror aspect to this one. And of course, you knew that going in, that's just what to expect. Stephen King is horror, right? Like, that's what he is. So timeline of the show compared to it and other Stephen King adaptations, or is it even connected to those other stories? So these are questions that a lot of Stephen King fans are asking. I've been on Twitter looking at that, and also on Reddit, and just hearing, people, because I'm familiar with some of the Stephen King stories and adaptations. I've actually seen quite a few adaptations now, but I'm not I don't know everything. I don't know I don't know a lot, right, about his stories and everything. I know kind of like the main premise of most of them, but nothing in specific. But I just really enjoy looking over and seeing what these people are finding in the show. So a lot of people are kind of debating on who Bill Skarsgård's character is. Like the creator said, it's a totally different character. He's not related to Pennywise. He's not going to be turning into Pennywise. These are totally, different characters, right? This is a brand new character that we've crafted for this series. But people, of course, are still debating on if it's Pennywise, if it's, I've heard like Randall, oh no, I forget the name, but Randall Riggs or Rags or something like that. I think that's, I don't know, I forget the name, but anyway, something like that. A lot of people are debating on who the character is, and some people are saying, well, maybe it's just not connected to most of those stories. Maybe it actually is just the characters and setting, and it's just a whole new story, and it's not going to be connected to anything, which I don't know. I kind of doubt, because I think, if they're going to do a show like this, it'd be kind of cool to have those Easter eggs and those little hidden secrets in there, right? That are going to be like connecting stories and stuff. So anyways, that's just really kind of a fun part of the show, right? And kind of debating on what you think it is, what the timeline of the show is, where it's going to, fit in between these adaptations. So there's some really, great questions to be asked, and some really great debate. So if you have any thoughts on that, if you're really familiar with Stephen King's, his works, please let me know, and maybe, educate me a little bit on it, share what you think. So, lastly, I just think it's a totally binge-worthy show. Hulu has got something great here, and I think they've done a really good job with releasing of it. So instead of releasing the whole, and again, I'm not familiar with Hulu originals, so maybe they do this for every show or something, I don't know. But for them to not release the whole first season at once, I really, really like that. I really do. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, give me the whole series so I can watch it in 2 days. But for me, I would actually probably lean to liking TV shows that go week to week. I really, really do enjoy waiting for a week and, and then watching it. For me personally, that's what I like doing. That's also what I did with The Terror too. It was online, it was available, all 10 episodes, but I decided to keep watching it week to week on AMC on live television. So, anyway, so they've decided to release 3 episodes at a time, and in my opinion, not too much, but not too little. It's just perfect, really. 3 episodes, it's not much. It takes about 3 hours to watch, and then you have to wait another week for the next 3 episodes. So I really like the way they're releasing this, and I think it's going to help them a lot too, because again, shows that just release on one night, you don't get all that attention and popularity at first, as you would if you're releasing 3 episodes this week, and then you get some buzz within the week, then 3 more next week, and so on, right? So I really think Hulu's doing a good job with this one. I'm really impressed with Hulu just after seeing this series premiere, of what, they are able to do as a network, as a streaming service, right? And then also just what they're able to produce, right, in this series. So really great stuff there. I'm really impressed. So all in all, my kind of last words here, my last kind of sentence describing the show. So all in all, great cinematography and the ability to capture the appropriate atmosphere produce a horrific yet captivating series that pays homage to the memorable and prolific Stephen King stories. So that is my final words for this one. Now my rating for it, pretty high, right? I'm going to give it a 4.7 out of 5. And I will say one thing. If you love Stephen King's adaptations, this is a must-see for you. I don't know how you do not, check this out. I know a lot of people were saying like, oh, I just heard about this like today, right? Like yesterday. I just heard about this today. I didn't know this was coming out. And so they were obviously, really excited for it. But honestly, if you love Stephen King's stories or adaptations, this is a must-see. Really. I mean, I don't know why people who like the adaptations wouldn't want to watch this, but I'm just saying it is a must-see because it's really, really great. It's one of the best adaptations, I would say, of his work. So, yeah, so pretty high rating here. Again, the only negative is that characters, not exactly sure who to follow yet within this series premiere, so that'll be coming. And then a little bit of just slow pacing in this episode. Those were really the only things I could think of that were negative about this premiere. It was really, really great. So obviously the horror is gonna, keep going. I think it's gonna get even more, scary and, more of these kind of jump scare scenes, right? I think that's going to be, happening more and more as the series goes on. But just in this premiere, you had quite a lot of horror as well. So anyways, guys, that'll just about do it for my thoughts on Castle Rock, the series premiere. Just because of the way that this series is being released. Now, I like it, but it's just a little inconvenient for me to do reviews with 3 episodes at a time. That takes a while, right, to do, 3 episodes basically in a day or two, release all the reviews, and then next week do another 3, so it's just a little tough for me personally, so that is why I'm deciding not to do this week to week, but I am for sure going to be back for the series finale to do a little wrap-up of the season, and then also talk about maybe what's next for a season 2, so please stay tuned for that. That will be coming when the finale is out and released, and in the meantime, I'm definitely going to be keeping up with it, watching it, probably making some tweets on Twitter, I guess, if you want to follow me there, we can talk about it there as well. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this review. Thank you so much for the recent support on the channel. Yesterday was my 1-year anniversary on YouTube. I made a little video about that if you want to check it out. But yeah, just like to thank you guys for the support in the last year and going forward. Really, really appreciate it. So anyways, guys, again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next review.
I walk taller when I'm alone. I'm just a little cooler when you're gone. And everybody knows